it really was music, man. Like, I'm not like, I drew a little bit as a kid, but I was so wild as a kid, man. My parents they're never like, yo, you want to play an instrument or something? They're like, just go outside, don't come back. You know what I mean? Until you're tired. Like, we don't want you in here. So when I was like 8 years old, man, I didn't really listen to much music. I was young as fuck. And I was with my cousin in Cincinnati, my older cousin, and he gave me All Eyes on Me. And he was like, I don't really like this, man, but you'll probably dig it. And I didn't know shit about anything, and it like changed my life, man. I went from like 8 to 15, I was in this huge Tupac phase, man. It was like, that was literally like right after Tupac died when he gave me that when I was 8. I was like, fuck, man, I just missed it. And so like, I went through this huge phase, man, and like that really inspired me. When I was like 12, I was kind of like writing poetry. I read Tupac's The Rose That Grew From Concrete, the poetry book, and I was kind of writing poetry. And then when I was like 13 or 14, I like growing up as a kid, I listened to like nothing but like No Limit and 3 6 Mafia. And then I was late to the game, but when I found like Illmatic and It Was Written, Reasonable Doubt, Most Def Quality, I was like, oh, this is what I want to do. Like, this is what feels good to me. Just like words, man, like rhyming words, like the perfect rhyme when you find, it just feels good to say. And like, it feels those like cadences, it feels just good to say it even without the rhyme sometimes. So once I found that was really my creative expression, man, like real hard. And I don't really creatively express myself in any other ways besides through rapping and through poetry and shit, man. So I delved real hard into that. I had a little hip hop group when I was like 18 with the same dude who's producing me now, Pooney. He like, I was making little beats on GarageBand and shit when I was like 16, 17. He came over one day and he just rearranged the beat immediately. And I was like, oh, you're my producer, bro. I was like, we're riding, let's go. And ever since then, man, I joined the band when I was like 20. I'm about to be 33 now. I joined the band when I was like 21. And they were already a band and they had some shakeups and shit. And I was like, man, my whole life, I was like, if I could just rap over drums like fucking Rage Against the Machine or something, it would be the best, man. And like, I finally got to do that. And it's been great, man. It's been great with them. Like, we're not broken up or anything. I just have like so much solo shit that I'm like, I'm gonna put it out. Fucking, it's gonna lift all boats no matter what. So, but yeah, that's really been my only creative expression, man. Because like I said, I go back and forth. I'm like, write a little guitar lick, and then I'm like, I'm trying to be the best MC I possibly could be. Like I'm not starting a rock band on my own anytime soon. So like I go in those circles, man. I always end up back in the same place. My dad plays bass, but like I said, they never even tried to get me to do any of that. I was just so wild as a kid, getting arrested all the time and shit, that they were just like, just don't get in trouble, don't come back until street lights come on type shit. But when I found the band and everything, like I always gravitated towards it, man. Like one of the best shows I've ever seen in my whole life, man. The House of Blues in Chicago is where I saw my first show ever. Was the Roots when I was like 16. I snuck in there. But me and my band don't often get to go to shows together. And we all ate acid and went and saw Deltron 3030 at the House of Blues with the full fucking 16-piece orchestra. And I'm always in the backing band was Mars Volta, like two of the dudes from Mars Volta. So it was like, I was just like, man, this is like, I've always said it, and like with an orchestra, with a band, with a DJ, still hip hop and everything, but like it can do it all. Hip hop can do it all. You can't do that in a lot of other genres. You can't like combine it like that. You can do Nas with the Philharmonic Symphony doing Illmatic. You know what I mean? It's just like, that's the pinnacle of music to me, man. And like, I've always believed in instruments and instrumentation. And with the first record, Wildlife, the EP that I put out, it started off, I was with my dude, Willie Waldman, who's this crazy trumpet player, man. He played on like TLC's Waterfalls and a bunch of Sublime shit and just like he played on Snoop's Vapors, like a bunch of crazy stuff. But I went out there with him to LA, and it kind of started off as like me like freestyling over like freeform jazz, like Tony Austin and Miles Mosley from Kamasi Washington's band were down on the project, and it was just me like kind of spitballing them, going off of it. And it really was like a freeform jazz record. And then my producer, Pooney, he was just like super busy at the time, like setting up a bunch of dispensaries and shit. And I didn't want to put it on him. And one day he was like, man, this is dope, but it's like not really hip hop. He's like, do you want me to like reorganize, like or rearrange some of these? And I was like, fuck yeah, man. I was hoping you'd say that. Let's go. And so it's like, I really, really love the record, and it's super lush. And I've worked with a bunch of dudes on it, from like Humphreys McGee, who live right by here in Michigan, super huge jam band in the Midwest. But it wasn't really the best representation of me. It was more like me working with other musicians, just going off a vibe. Whereas like this record that I'm putting out now with Pooney, this full-length Scatterbrain that's coming out first week of June, is we controlled everything from start to finish. Like all the beats are sampled or programmed ourselves, and every aspect of the sound was controlled by me. And that's the first time I've ever done that. I always like, somebody gives me a beat or the band is like, yo, here's a verse, like just rip, you got 16 bars, rock it. And like, I've never thought about like, how do I want everything to sound top to bottom? How do I want this wall of sound to look? So it helped me grow as a musician a lot. Like, and I think it was a beautiful experience, man. I'm really happy with the record. I can't wait to get it out to everybody.